get things started. Ready? Go!
Hello and welcome to Bounding Into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding Into Comics. Today I got a story about Marvel Comics announcing a brand new Captain America series that will see Sam Wilson become Captain America again while also taking identity politics global. If you haven't been keeping up with Marvel Comics, can't really doubt you. I haven't really been either, but I did do some research and I discovered that in Generations, Sam Wilson, Captain America, and Steve Rogers, Captain America #1, Wilson stepped down as Captain America and returned the shield to Captain America. After returning the shield, he also penned a letter to him that states, "Dear Steve, when you handed me the shield, you said you had a mission for me. Now I've got one for you. You're going to overcome this. I know you have your doubts. You wonder if you can earn back their trust, inspire them again. And I'm telling you, you will. You're going to be the hero they need, the one they've always hoped for. I'd bet my life on it." From there, we got Ta-Nehisi Coates' run on Captain America, which was absolutely abysmal. I do not recommend reading it. But Coates is now gone from Captain America, and Marvel Comics is relaunching Captain America in two different series, one starring Sam Wilson and one starring Steve Rogers. But before they get their own series, Wilson will return to the role as Captain America, beginning with Captain America #0, written by Colin Kelly, Jackson Lanzing, and Tochi Onyebuchi, with art by Mattia Diolis in April. From there, as I said, Marvel will launch two different series, one featuring Sam Wilson, the other featuring Steve Rogers. The one featuring Wilson is titled Captain America Symbol of Truth, written by Onyebuchi, with art by R.B. Silva. It debuts in May. The one featuring Steve Rogers will be titled Captain America Sentinel of Liberty, and will be written by Colin Kelly and Lanzing, with art by Carmen Carnero. It debuts in June. Before we get to what those two series are about, we did get some details about this Captain America #0 issue. Speaking with Entertainment Weekly, Lansing detailed that this 0 issue is more of what you have come to expect from Marvel Comics, two people talking with each other with not a lot of action happening. He said, "What's interesting about Captain America #0 is that unlike a lot of 0 issues, we're not going to spend a lot of time building the plot for both books or teasing out a bunch of amazing stuff. The issue #1s are going to do that. Issue #0 is effectively a conversation between Steve and Sam about what it means for both of them to be Captain America simultaneously. However, unlike most Marvel comics where these discussions take place in coffee shops, this conversation will take place on a rocket," Lansing explains. "But that conversation isn't had in a room sitting down over beers. That conversation is had while flying, holding onto the side of a massive rocket, heading into the sky to obliterate all of mankind, because Arnim Zola is back and he's got a bad plan. Well, at least they're changing the scenery, but a conversation is still a conversation, even if it has a different location." So that doesn't really appear to be a change in Marvel Comics' modus operandi. As for the Sam Wilson Symbol of Truth series, Entertainment Weekly reveals that Wilson, quote, "will be the public-facing Captain America, the one people think of as holding that title." Onyebuchi would also provide some details about the series, stating, "We have basically only touched the surface of his interaction with the Marvel Universe. There are so many characters that have yet to interact with Sam as Captain America, dynamics we haven't yet seen. It feels like the world is my oyster." He went on to reveal that Joaquin Torres, the newly introduced Falcon, would appear in the series. He said, "It's been really cool exploring that with Sam, but also with Joaquin Torres, who is the Falcon in this book." As for the plot, Onyebuchi revealed it's about identity politics. He says, "We've seen Sam Wilson deal with the legacy of Captain America and race in very inward terms with regards to America. What does it mean for America to accept a black Captain America? One of the things I'm teasing in my book is, what does it mean for the rest of the world to accept a black Captain America? That's another part of the equation. If Captain America is in many ways a mimesis of America, with all the good and bad pathologies, what does that mean for the way in which America interacts with the rest of the world?" He went on to say, "I'm a huge fan of action thrillers that involve foreign locals and all of that stuff. One of the things that Sam has to do is he has to get to the bottom of a conspiracy. He has to figure out what the truth of the matter is. He has to figure out what's really going on. When so much of American foreign policy historically has been founded on operating in the shadows, manipulating federal employees or members of another government into enacting regime change for the benefit of various corporate interests, what is it going to look like when Sam runs up against the people who would wish to manipulate him for their own ends in terms of furthering America's interests abroad? What does it mean to be the symbol of truth in that context?" Now, I think he's saying a lot of the right words here, but we've been burned before, and if I'm being honest, I also feel that there's a lot of red flags in this. Specifically, I feel like this is going to be turning into an America-hating book. That's definitely what it sounds like. maybe they'll prove me wrong, but given Marvel's track record, I doubt it. And one of those red flags is what Lansing had to say about the series. He justified the plot by referencing Steve's decisions during the Reagan administration. He said Steve went through a whole process during Nixon and Reagan where he kind of learned how the sausage was made. Sam's going to be coming into that forewarned and forearmed. I'm amazed by the idea that he really can't put down the shield the way that Steve could. It's really important that he not. So then what does it mean for him to stand there with that and be like, okay, I'm going to hold the shield, but I'm also going to deal with this. As for Captain America Sentinel of Liberty, Kelly details the series will see Captain America questioning what it means to be a patriot. He said Steve is a member of the greatest generation. That's so important, especially now, because he's seen so much of the 20th century and he's really able to weigh it. With our story, what we really wanted to start looking at was how has America changed? What does it mean to be a patriot now? Because it means something very different even in the last 2 or 3 years. We've seen a radical shift in our country, and especially for a lot of young people, a real fury and disappointment at what our country has started to do to itself. He concluded saying, Cap can't turn his back on America, neither of the Caps can, because the idea is good, the core is good and worth fighting for, but both need to wrestle with what that means in the year of our Lord 2022. So I'm actually really surprised he's actually using, referencing God there without using it as a pejorative. So I guess that is a pretty good sign. We haven't seen that from Marvel in a long time. They seem to be pretty anti-Christianity in a lot of their works. And the fact that he's actually saying that the core of America is a good idea, that's a radical U-turn from when they had Captain America abandoning the idea of the American dream, which they just did that recently. So those are actually some good signs. But again, questioning what it means to be a patriot and then claiming that there's been a radical shift in the country over the last 2 or 3 years, I think that is overblown. I think that's a lot of that is just a media trying to create this idea of the radical shift where I'm not really sure there is one. We also got some more details from Lansing. He said, I think Steve has learned through the Coates run that there's a lot of inward looking he has to do in terms of his legacy and himself. Maybe he's become too much Captain America and not enough Steve Rogers. In our book, he is going to be really looking at what it means to be Steve Rogers. We'll see what it means when he finds a threat that truly needs his version of Captain America and what he has to step up to become that. Lansing concluded, what does Captain America mean to Steve beyond being the leader of the Avengers and answering to the government, since he feels he's handed that off? So what is Steve building? What is he organizing? What do his friends need from him specifically? What does Bucky need from him? So again, I feel like there's a lot of red flags here too. We just had Lansing talk about Steve giving up the shield and not answering to the government. And here he's saying that that's almost intrinsic to his character. So I have a contradiction from this author about who exactly Steve Rogers is as Captain America. So I'm not really sure he understands the character just from his own words in his brief interview with Entertainment Weekly. And that is actually a symptom of our media today. We actually, you see it specifically with Star Wars. They take these characters from one episode to the next, just using The Mandalorian as an example, and the character is a completely different person, different personality. He does things differently than what he did in the past episode, or how he should behave. And from what I understand, they're doing that with Boba Fett too, where they're just completely changing these characters to be something that they aren't. And it appears that this might be what they're doing here with Captain America, given Lansing's brief comments in this Entertainment Weekly interview. But those are my thoughts on the matter. Let me know what you think in the comments below. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding into Comics.